So here's some news for you. 2 studies have recently been conducted involving medical patients across Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand, which found that a strain of drug-resistant malaria is sweeping across the Southeast Asian region. The specific malarial strain of Plasmodium falciparum, one of the more dangerous species of pathogen that causes malaria, it emerged in western Cambodia in 2008, and in the last decade, it's been so successful and it's spread so much that it is now the dominant strain in the region. And on top of this, it's picked up new resistance mutations that have made this strain generally impervious to some of the drugs used to treat it. But now there are calls for some of these drugs to be abandoned, because at this point all they're doing is making the strain more resistant. Professor Tan Trinh Hein is a doctor from the Oxford University Clinical Research Unit and a co-author on one of these new malaria papers. When discussing this developing drug resistance and alternatives for frontline treatments, he said, quote, "One option is to switch the partner drug piperaquine to a drug that is currently effective, such as mefloquine or pyronerdine, as Cambodia and Thailand have already done. But there is a possibility that in the presence of artemisinin resistance to these partner drugs might develop rapidly as well. Another option is to use triple acts, in which an artemisinin is combined with 2 partner drugs instead of 1, unquote. So these things that he's talking about, these acts, or ACTs, these are artemisinin combination therapies. So basically, it's the drug artemisinin paired with one of 6 other drugs, and taking this 2-part combination therapy can clear malaria from the body. However, this particular strain of malaria in Southeast Asia has become resistant to dihydroartemisinin and piperaquine, which is a really bad combination. This dihydroartemisinin is one of the few artemisinin compounds that can be used in these artemisinin combination therapies. You can also tell how desperate things are when they start recommending triple drug combos instead of just 2 drug combos. The malaria situation in Southeast Asia has been described as having, quote, substantially worsened since 2015, unquote. Scientists have expressed fears that this highly pathogenic Plasmodium strain might make it to Africa, where malaria is a near constant problem. Here, this drug-resistant strain could infect and possibly kill hundreds of thousands of people. For some historical context, consider Africa in the 1980s, where a strain of malaria became resistant to chloroquine and ended up killing millions of people. A genetic epidemiological study analyzed the genomes of almost 1,700 samples of this Plasmodium falciparum and found that they had spread rapidly from Cambodia into all of the nearby countries. They found that the drugs that were used to treat malaria were failing in as many as 25% to sometimes more than 50% of cases in all of the countries surveyed. So this is a big problem, and it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. In fact, it is getting worse. But the world's health organizations, pharmaceutical researchers, and epidemiologists are working on solving it. We can only hope their efforts are successful, and the world can avoid another potential pandemic.